the Middle-Aged Bodcast. Getting older, but having some laughs.
Welcome to the Middle-Aged Podcast with me, Raging Rich.
And me, T.A. Shalano.
Today, it is Season 6, Episode 4. We are back yet again with some updates for the podcasters on weigh-ins, some stuff we've been up to, and also a brand new segment that we have come up with as we talk the walk and update our listeners on our charity walking event.
Yes, indeed, Rich. Look forward to talking about that later. But we better start with those weigh-in stats. Avid listeners will know we last weighed in a couple of weeks ago. And so can I have a drum roll, please? Now, 2 weeks ago, we announced we were exactly the same weight of 19 stone, 1 pound and 6 ounces. Where are we now? Shall we start with myself? I am in at 19 flat, 19.0, which is 120.9 kilos. Rich, you're in at 19 stone, 3 pounds, which is 122.2 kilos. So it is weight on for you, slight weight off for me.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about what it was weight on for me with the what we've been up to segment.
The excuses are starting already.
Well, hang on. I'm not having this because you've done this previously as well. So I'm not having that excuse, all right? Look, I went away for the weekend. It's going to be in the what we've been up to bit. Things have happened. It's back on track going forward from here.
Okay, I'm saying nothing. And we're not in competition. We did make that very clear in episode 2 when we ended up randomly at the same weight. This is not a competition. You know, we are obviously seeking to continue the self-improvement, which comes into the later section around as well, the talk, the walk. So I'm certainly not here chastising you if you have, been enjoying yourself, because that's important too. But obviously we do have to consider looking at what we can do around that. So please tell us why you have got to the. Not that it's a huge amount. I mean, I'm sitting here like he's put on a stone. Everybody, he hasn't. But what have you been doing to enjoy yourself that has pushed that scale up a notch when you were looking to move it down?
First of all, I put on 2 pounds.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a lot. It's not a lot.
Yeah, come on. Right. Well, this is obviously the what we've been up to bit, and yeah, we haven't actually spoken about this. We've saved it for the recording. Last weekend, Ruth and I went away.
Yep.
To York, a city that Ruth is a massive fan of. I'd never been before. Absolutely beautiful city. Absolutely incredible. Really enjoyed being there. So yeah, had a weekend in York. Maybe overindulged a little bit too much in some food and drink there. But yeah, really enjoyed it and certainly have a little bit of a chat about that. But TA, it's not just me who's been out gallivanting. You and Mrs. Shalano also had a bit of an event recently as well.
Well, yes, but hang on a second. I mean, the first thing I'd say is I am very much looking forward to hearing your tale about York. Because, as you know, Mrs. Shalano and I went there last year for the first time and so much enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to that. I've not been gallivanting quite as much, I would suggest, rather more locally. But it's been a long wait. So I think that's what I would caveat going into this. So, as you well know, I'm a massive fan of The Sopranos.
Oh, you don't mention that you bear a passing resemblance to Tony Soprano more than once every day.
Say every day. That's other people, tell me, as we've spoken about on this show sometimes, in the most unexpected circumstances that I bear the resemblance. But yeah, so going back many, many moons ago, Mrs. Shalano had bought us tickets to go and see some of the actors from The Sopranos. We're going to be giving a talk, and due to COVID, etc., it was postponed again. Eventually, it was cancelled. And 2 of the 3 actors who were meant to be doing this in 2020 have come back on tour to the UK, and actually have just recently completed that tour of, I think it's a 10-city tour, I think it was, which is Michael Imperioli, who played Christopher, and Steve Shirapa, who played Bobby. So in terms of the context of people, whether you've seen the show or you haven't, Christopher was obviously Tony Soprano's nephew. Bobby became Tony's brother-in-law. So the actors came over to the UK to do a tour, and Birmingham, Mrs. Shalon and I went to see that. It was the second night of the tour. And so 6 years we waited for a show.
That is a long wait, isn't it? That is a really long wait.
All I will say is at this point, it was well worth waiting for. The never has the phrase better late than never applied to something, I don't think. I mean, I'm not the most patient of people at the best of times, but 6 years is pushing it. I think, Rich, I may have still had some hair when I was took to see the show.
Oh, that's pushing it.
That is, come on. Yeah.
No, I don't mean that as an insult.
No.
It hasn't been that long.
No. It's been a while. It's been a while.
This sounds awful. I've known this man a long time.
No. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, to be fair, I was borderline, leading to having a go at you about whatever you've been eating in York. So you're more than welcome to have a go at my follically challenged life.
You can definitely borderline have a go at what I was eating in York.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I know that it's been something you've been waiting for a long time with the Sopranos event, and can't imagine 6 years is a long time to wait.
So obviously, I think in terms of the show itself, I won't go into obviously huge things about anecdotes because that's very much relevant really to the two actors. I think they obviously did a podcast around all the episodes, different things. So I won't go too much into their stories because they are very much their stories, and we're there for people to go and enjoy. We did have we had nice seats where we were on the sort of first level up at the Birmingham Symphony Hall.
That's a great venue as well, isn't it?
It certainly is. I do like going to events there. Obviously, you and I have been there. You've been there for various things as well, but I must bring this in. One of the things that they do is, and I think this is the same whether they're toured the US or they're internationally, they have a Q&A at the end, Rich. So members of the audience, I think if you're sort of sat in the stalls, as was, you can obviously get up, kind of queue, form a line, etc., to ask a question. Now, we were up on the sort of first level circle, so we're not eligible for that. Slightly cheaper tickets, I guess, is the issue there.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. It's probably just the purchase date and the sort of the rush for tickets more than anything.
Yeah, so we were not in the position of being able to ask a question. I don't know whether we would or we wouldn't, I'll be honest. I genuinely don't know. But in terms of the context, so what they did was have two lines with a microphone each side right in front of the stage. And so in terms of the format of the show, you've got Michael and Steve, and you've got a compere who was called Joey Cola, American comedian. So they lined up. They said, we'll take about 10 people each side, which I actually thought, Rich, was quite a lot, actually. Like, you come to the end of a show where they've obviously been going through clips from the programme, talking about various anecdotes, their careers, all the rest of it. 10 people each side is a lot. What's your view on that? I don't know if you've seen something like that before where...
I've seen the Evening with Kevin Smith DVDs where he does these sort of things, and it is primarily he comes out, he does a little bit of a chat for 5-10 minutes, and then it's just questions. So I have seen it done. Obviously, I've been to some Comic-Cons in the past where they do a similar sort of thing, but I have seen it before, and I know it's part of certain events. They like to give the audience the opportunity to sort of interact with the people that they've come to see. So it's not completely alien to me.
Which I think is actually a fantastic thing, to have an opportunity to ask a question of people, you've obviously come to see. The problem is it's not filtered. Now, I'm not saying it should be, or that you'd want it to be in some ways, because you do need a certain element of a natural element to it, right? As in, it's not been pre-prepared and the actors know what's coming. You need that element of surprise. However, like everything in life, the public can be a bit hit and miss. And I'll be brutally honest here, during that Q&A, there were people that stood up and they asked well thought out questions and were really good. But there were other people where it was less so. And a couple of people took the opportunity, it seems, to almost promote themselves, which I found odd. And the one guy, whether he did sort of admit afterwards, during it, he got a little bit excited, but he opened with basically saying along the lines of he used to be a comedian, and you go, but who's interested in that? You're in a theatre full of people. We don't know who you are. You've been asked to get up and ask a question. You wanted to get up and ask a question to the actors. So you did that, and you go, okay, fine. And then there's a big thing about within, this is one thing I think I can say, within The Sopranos, there was, during some of the seasons, they had Steve Sherpa wear a fat suit to make him look bigger, right? So Steve's, like ourselves, he's not the smallest of guys, but they put a fat suit on him in the show and make him look bigger. Fine. This guy then says to Steve, looking directly at him on the stage, he goes, when are you getting rid of the fat suit? So it's like, what are you doing? Like, literally, you're insulting one of the people you've come to see. Are you trying to somehow resurrect this comedy career? Or I'm not sure what you're doing. And he was babbling and babbling. And in the end, Steve just went, sorry, what are you doing? Like, as in, have you got a question? Like, are you just talking to yourself here? Because the audience then go like, it becomes cringeworthy. You're sort of sitting in your seat going, what is this person doing? And to be fair, he then came up with a question and whatnot. But that was the only thing for me with the format, is it's so hit and miss as to what you get. And there were some good questions. But yeah, there's one or two where you like, there was one actually where the actors dealt with it really well and the audience didn't. So a guy got up and he kind of asked them if they'd watched The Sopranos, and people were almost laughing, and I felt a bit bad for that guy, really. But the actors dealt with it really well and said, well, actually, we've had to rewatch for the podcast that we've done. So we've done a podcast that covers every episode of the program. And actually, without going back and watching it many years later for that, we wouldn't have the same knowledge as the listener. So we needed that to go and do it. And it is interesting to go back and look. So they answered him really nicely. But yeah, you do think sometimes, is there a way where you can, I don't know whether there's more of a filtering of that. But...
I've been thinking about that though today, because do you not think when he asked that question, what he actually probably meant by it was not, have you rewatched The Sopranos disregarding this podcast rewatch? He maybe meant, have you rewatched it for actually just rewatching it, rather than for the case of doing a podcast on it. I've referenced before, I'm a big fan of Michael Rosenbaum, who did Smallville, and they're doing a rewatch podcast. So it's Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling. So Michael Rosenbaum played Lex Luthor, Tom Welling played Clark Kent. And Michael Rosenbaum has never seen Smallville. So he never watched it when he was in it, never watched it since he left. They're now rewatching it. But maybe the question this guy was asking at this Sopranos event was actually, have you rewatched it just generally to watch it? Have you watched it to try and see it as a fan of TV? And I think we have kind of established, I think a lot of actors don't tend to watch themselves back. But maybe had they watched it just because it was a big hit show? Was it something they'd watched generally to see what the fuss was about? I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's maybe the wording of his question, because he did it. I think maybe he was nervous as well. Yeah. And that's the thing that people probably don't give you, they don't cut you any slack when you stand up and do that in front of a huge audience of people that you don't do that.
Yeah.
He was probably really, really nervous. And, he kind of said, what you mean, have you actually watched yourself back, or are you one of those actors who never does?
Yeah.
And of course, as I say, they were in a position where they were at least able to answer it and say, well, we hadn't watched it for a long time, and then we watched it again in a more fresher spell, which was a good way of answering it, actually. But maybe if you'd asked it in a different way, it might have come out differently if he'd said, oh, I've heard a lot of actors don't watch themselves back. Yeah. That kind of thing.
But it might have been, like you say, the nerves. It could have been something like that. That's probably what it was.
But yeah, some of the questions were good. But it's quite long to have 10 people each side asking stuff, especially where people weren't succinct in questioning. But yeah,
it is. But I get it. It's an opportunity for people who've bought tickets to do it. I will say, I went with one of our mutual friends to see The Undertaker from WWE do a talk a few years ago, and he did something with audience participation, and it was good. It wasn't as many questions, and the only way you could ask a question is if you bought like a VIP ticket.
Yeah.
So you actually got to meet him before the show, but you then got the opportunity to ask a
Yeah.
question. And I think they did vet those questions a little bit.
Right.
So it was like, okay, what question would you ask? So then they knew who to call up, because they were calling people.
Yeah.
It wasn't like queue up and do anything. It was actually people being called up. Maybe that's where the mistake was made. Maybe there should have been like okay, we're going to charge X amount for normal tickets, and maybe say, well, we'll do a meet and greet, but the meet and greet also gives you the opportunity to ask them a question, and then you've got that potential of being able to vet them slightly.
I mean, there was a meet and greet option as part of this.
Oh,
I'm not sure
okay.
whether those
Maybe
people were part of the meet and greet as well. That could be part of it. And actually, that's my misunderstanding of it on the evening where I was in a position where I couldn't have asked a question anyway if I'd wanted to, because I was in an elevated position and obviously couldn't go to the ground. But yeah, I think it's an interesting. You just don't know what you're going to get with the public, do you? And it's a strange one. But anyway, enough about that. What have you been eating in York?
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
So we did York. As I say, I'd never been before. So I don't know how aware you are of Harry Potter at all, TA, and sort of the locations in Harry Potter. But
I know it's been mentioned around. It's not my thing, but yeah, I know there's a history around.
The Shambles in York is kind of the basis of Diagon Alley, which is a part of the Harry Potter franchise. And so we got there and we had a little bit of time before we had to check into the hotel. So we went to the Shambles and had something to eat there. Had a pork bap. Oh my God, that was incredible. From this lovely little sandwich shop that was there. So we did that, and then sort of just looking around the Shambles a little bit, having a bit of a walk. Really busy around there. There's actually a Harry Potter shop you had to queue up to get into, which, I mean, look, I like the films. I've read some of the books. I'm not a diehard enough fan to kind of queue up to do the shop. Although I have been on the tour a couple of times and things like that. But I wouldn't be doing sort of the queuing up to go in the shop. Of course, had it been a Marvel shop, then I'm sure I would have been. But yeah, it was really interesting. Like, really busy up there. Obviously, it's not much space to walk around either. And then yeah, we went to the hotel. I have a bit of a story about the hotel actually, because we got there in the got there for check-in time and the room wasn't ready. I did joke with Ruth, should I tell them I'm an international podcaster?
Oh dear.
Purely, of course, due to the international audience and not to do with the number of listeners we have internationally. But yeah, I did have a little bit of a joke about that. But yeah, we went to check in and it took a couple of goes waiting for the room to be available. But I will say a bit later on that night we were going out. Well, no, it was the second night. So the second night we actually went out and we were talking to someone at reception, just making a request for some stuff for the room. And the lady on reception was like, "Oh yeah, I'll go and do that for you. It's not a problem." We got back from our meal on the second night, and actually when we got back, the hotel had put a box of matchmakers and a note saying, "We really hope that you've enjoyed your stay with us," which is a really nice, like, little thing. I think. Oh no, go on.
And you said, "See, they do know I'm an international podcaster. I get special treatment." Is that?
I did not say that whatsoever, but you know. But no, it was really good. We went to see an ABBA tribute. Now, as I'm sure you will know, TA, I've never really been that big of a fan of ABBA. However, we went to see this tribute act. They were fantastic. I realised I knew more songs than I thought. I was singing, I was dancing. Ruth was going, "Are you sure you're going to enjoy this?" I was like, "Oh, I'll be fine." Went there. When it ended, I was like, "Oh my God, that was excellent." But one lady, her vocals were fantastic. She was really good. But the banter, all the fun they were doing, like all the chit chat, all the singing, really good crowd as well. And the Barbican in York. What a great venue to go to. If you do go to York and you get a chance to see a show at the Barbican, do it, definitely. Make sure that you do go and see something there. Such a beautiful venue. We went to an Italian place where you can actually, from the window of this Italian place, you can see the Barbican. We went in there. That was delicious. That was really nice food, really good service in there. It's called Toto's, which did have us with Africa stuck in our head and stuff like that. But yeah, we went in Toto's and had some food in there. It was really nice in there. And then the next day, we went and had our eyes photographed. That was really cool. They do like nice art prints and stuff that you can get. And that was a really interesting experience. And then, yeah, I had a bit of a walk around the city. The Viking festival was on. Lots of people just dressed in Viking costumes, and there was like Viking ships and things like that around in the city.
It's got that vibe about it, though, isn't it? I mean, when we were there, that kind of historic nature of the place.
Well, yeah, I don't know when you went. If you went to like the Jorvik Centre.
No.
That's really good. So the Jorvik Centre, and this is like the stuff that they do. So basically, it's like a museum. They have this museum, and basically the way that it works, you go, you queue up. There's someone outside who's kind of talking to you, like they're from Viking times and stuff like that. You go on like a bit of a ride, and there's all these models that they've got, these animatronic models that sort of tell you the story of this Viking site that they found under one of the buildings, and so they've used that to build this centre and this sort of historical thing. Just showing you here, TA, this coin that I got. So they actually found a Viking coin press.
Wow.
That was there, and I believe it's the only fully functional Viking coin press. So they found ones in the past where like there's half of it or something like that. This is actually a double-sided one.
Wow.
There's different sides, they're different things. Because I think they found like two different halves and managed to form one from it. But they basically do it in front of you. So they get the coin, it's completely plain, and they then hit it with this hammer, and it puts the imprint onto it.
Oh wow.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
There's like a museum side of it, as well as the actual sort of attraction where you go on this kind of it's like a little ride thing that they do. Then it kind of gets pulled along on a track that's actually above you, so you sort of suspended down and pulled through, looking at these mannequins. And then you go and see that. Really good, really interesting. The sort of the commitment to it all from all the people who work there is fantastic. They're really good people there. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. And then went for a lovely meal on the evening. Again, just really chilled place, really relaxing. Somewhere that I'd certainly go to again. I think it's a really great city to visit. Beautiful city, lots of stuff to do.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff to see. Obviously, I'd booked this ABBA tribute as part of Ruth's present, so that evening was basically taken up by that. But I'm sure, like, if there's not an event on at the Barbican or stuff, people will always find things to do there. And yeah, it's somewhere I'd definitely go back. I'd love to do some more of the stuff that's there. Didn't get to do the boat trip. I love a boat trip, so I wouldn't have minded doing that. But yeah, as I say, overindulged in some really nice food, which doesn't mean getting back on track in terms of the weigh-ins. But yeah, it was really good. Really enjoyed it. Needed the break. Great to just have a relaxing couple of days away, and then of course back. And I suppose we'd better move on to the brand new segment.
We should do. I mean, I'm just going to finish on, obviously, with that particular point that, was it gimme a cake after midnight? I knew I'd find an ABBA leaning somehow.
So here it is. Let's go with the new segment. Don't know if this is going to catch on, but we're calling it Talk the Walk. And as you know, we are doing a charity walk. We're going to do a 12-mile walk, raising money for Andy's Man Club. Please do go listen to our first episode. We explain everything about why we're doing this walk, the reasons that we're supporting Andy's Man Club with that. It is an absolutely fantastic charity. As we've said, I attend Andy's Man Club every week. It's been a real great support network for me and my mental health. In these last few months, sort of 6 months or so now. And yeah, I do think this this charity walk that we're doing. It's hopefully going to give us a nice goal to aim for. So, TA, we've got a bit of a provisional date, haven't we, of like the 30th of May. But we are thinking if the weather's not great, we'll divert to the week after.
Yeah, I think 30th of May or 6th of June, Rich, should be definitely one of those 2 dates that we do it. We have a little bit of time to get our training up to speed, I think. I look forward to seeing you out in the Lycra in the morning to start our training, or at least soon we will start some more intense training.
You've got to stop with this Lycra joke. 'Cause that's just like, that's 2 episodes now where you've referenced.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This. I mean, you know, what are you going to do if I actually rocked up and I got like Lycra shorts on you? You'd be like, you're committing to this a bit too much.
I no, that's not an image that we need. I'm glad this is an audio only podcast, because that's no, we don't need that. Okay, I will make no more reference, but we do need to obviously do a little bit more training. I was going to see what, you know, where as a general rule of thumb, you know, a Sunday morning fits into your schedule for hiking.
Yeah, we could do some Sunday mornings. I think that's a good shout. I think that's a really good idea. We probably need to start properly doing so. I mean, I did a lot of walking while I was in York. It was good practice, you know.
Yep, absolutely.
Good bit of practice for it.
I think the more we can do, I mean, even like, you know, in the week when we're working, things like that, you know, in breaks, need to get out walking maybe a bit, just building up that constant, getting used to doing stuff. You know, I don't know what we're going to do. We have to think about, I suppose, footwear as well for, you know, what we will do for the actual walk itself.
I think definitely trying to get some walking boots is going to be the way, because I think we're going to really make sure we're looking after our feet on it. I did say to Ruth, you know, we're going to have to get a backpack full of water bottles and like walk along. And she went, Rich, come on. There's going to be shops you can just nip in and get yourself water. You're not going to have to be like carting. You're going to be on main roads and stuff. There's going to be corner shops and supermarkets, and
it's a 12-mile walk through urban areas, Rich.
I know.
You're treating it like we're going to do a 12-mile walk of the Serengeti. What are you talking about? I mean, you know, this shouldn't be.
I know.
I know we need to plan it a little bit, but wow. I mean, if you can't sort of make it from one retail outlet to the next in an urban area, we're in big trouble.
Oh,
trouble.
I know.
You know, whatever next, like people on the route with new shoes. I mean,
just change footwear every few miles.
Midway, you know, have somebody with a chair. We have a little sit down, a little break.
Someone said to me the other day, I was telling someone at work about it, and they said, oh, well, you know, you could always have a little break and like go in like the pub or something and have a drink. I said, if we went and had a break and went in the pub, we wouldn't be doing the walk.
Wouldn't get completed. It's as simple as that. If you're going to do this kind of thing, you've got to have to do it all in like a one go thing.
Yeah,
I think is the key.
Yeah,
the pub at the end of it sounds quite appealing.
I think so. Yeah,
I'll be brutally honest.
Well, we have got a bit of a provisional route. We're just having a bit of a think still about making it bang on the 12 miles. We've sort of got a start point. We've got an end point. We've said the end point will be Villa Park. That's sort of the plan at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to be looking into getting a walk that does hit the 12 miles bang on. If it doesn't, we'll be doing a few laps of Villa Park just to make it up.
We will definitely make sure we'll hit the 12 miles.
But we will hit 12 miles, yeah.
Okay, well, I look forward to that. And I look forward to the training. So, yeah, Rich, obviously we're going to get our training up to speed. We will keep you posted on the weights and what our progress is towards this walk. The walk itself will be outside of this season. So in the best comeback ever, rejoin us for season 7 to hear what happened. Bringing people back. Well, maybe.
No, I think people will be back. We've
Yeah.
got to be a bit more positive about that. But yeah, it's really looking forward to it. Going to be talking a lot more about sort of the training progress, the stuff that we've been doing. As you say, the weigh-ins coming back a bit more as well. We've got some great episodes coming up for everyone. We've got guest episodes. We've got more of us obviously talking about our progress, things we've been up to. There'll be plenty of that kind of chat. or the Bodcast banter, as we like to call it. There'll be plenty of that coming up over the course of the season. And then, the sort of going into season 7, we'll have hopefully a nice update on the walk, and fingers crossed, just raise some money. Hit our target. We said this. We're not going to give people a hard sell. If you want to give, great. But we are going to set I think a modest goal, shall we say, nothing too crazy, and hopefully we can hit that target and raise some money for an absolutely fantastic cause and his man club.
Absolutely. Catch you soon.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Want more middle-aged podcast in your life? Of course you do. Follow us on social media for behind-the-scenes stuff, extra larks, and all our latest updates.
We're on Instagram and Threads at Midaged Podcast.
Facebook's easier. Just head to facebook.com/middleaged podcast.
If you're still hanging on to Twitter or X or whatever it's called now, we're at Midaged Podcast.
And if you're on Blue Sky, it's at middleagedpodcast.bsky.social.
Or you can swing by our website, middleagedpodcast.co.uk.
Give us a follow and stay in the loop.
Cheers for listening.